Hey guys.
Yep.
Oh shit. Forgot to turn my phone off. Or on silent, I should say.
And we're live. Nick's got money.
And he's gonna use it on a vending machine. I fucking knew it.
Accepts credit cards.
So, am I gone with the fancy regular Coke, the in the middle Coke Zero, or a nice live Diet Coke?
I swear to God, if you fucking choose this, I'm gonna hate you.
Go zero.
If I choose what?
If you choose Diet Coke, I swear to fucking God.
Go zero. 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 Zero.
I have Diet Coke, or no, I have Diet Mountain Dew and Diet Root Beer, but I don't have Diet Coke anymore, so.
No! 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 Snick! At least let me turn my webcam on first.
Me.
Alright, there, my webcam's on. You better fucking not choose that shit, though. Don't you fucking do it. Schnick?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Do it.
You know what? I think I'm in the mood for some regular. You know what? Fuck you.
Fucker! Oh shit, I made my computer say USB device not recognized. Holy shit.
Ah, look at this. We got a nice shiny quarter here. I don't know why, but regular is best when it comes from a fountain. Alright, here's my fancy quarter, and it's not a state quarter.
You know what my friend found?
What?
A goddamn peso.
A peso? Well, you live close to Mexico, so I'm not surprised.
Los Pesos.
I mean, I haven't really seen a peso before. And that was pretty
it's smaller
interesting.
And it's crustier.
It looked... I'm sorry, what? It looks crustier?
One of my teachers in middle school had a bunch of pesos, and one of them was really crusty. I don't know why I remember that.
I remember one time, I found a penny in the road. I tried to pick it up, but it was literally part of the road.
So it got stuck in the cement. Or the tar. Or
asphalt.
whatever.
Oh. Oh, wait. You said you found a penny in the road, huh?
It was literally part of the road.
I got your penny right here.
Also, I'm gonna just say something real fast. You know how God of War and Nintendo Labo come out? And if you've seen videos, there are people being like, yeah, God of War is gonna beat Nintendo Labo for Game of the Year, or something stupid like that. Even though they're completely different, you know, things. Turns out Labo sold twice as much as God of War, so...
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. And that's not even the entire thing, only the variety set sold twice as much, and the
Trying to show
robot set sold a little bit less, but like together it's like way more, so...
Wow. That's pretty sad.
Some people are pretty salty. So...
Oh yeah. Oh, Sparrow apparently said Diet Soda's rather nasty. I prefer the real thing. No thanks. I prefer real soda.
Actually, I heard.
I drank enough of them. I drink both.
Actually, I heard nothing about diet soda.
Diet soda isn't really diet, it's just less calories and different taste.
I was watching this program. I don't know if it's true or not. Watching this program of diet soda, where they said that where in regular soda it was the sugar. With sugar stuff, if you eat it, you get full. Well, with the fake sugar, apparently, you can drink a bunch of it and not be full and still be hungry. So your brain.
I'm always thirsty when I drink a soda, anyways.
Wonder why?
Because your brain says apparently, oh, you haven't eaten any sugar, so keep on eating. Because that's fake sugar. And
I have a little bit of both anyway, and the whole thing is, to me, regular Coke's too sweet.
What about Pepsi?
Pepsi's even sweeter, but truth is, I prefer Diet. I prefer Diet Pepsi over Diet Coke, but if I had to choose between regular Coke and regular Pepsi, I'd go with Coke.
I drink like a soda, and then I drink a bunch of water afterwards.
Well, the whole thing is, I barely drink
Ew.
soda. The only reason I drink it at school is because I literally have no other choice. Everything else they have to drink is shit. Not to mention, pretty much the only thing they sell here is Coke products.
Hi guys, MarioTube 101 here, and this is the only podcast where we drink caffeine, except apparently Vandalia, because he never said the intro. I guess he forgot or something.
I got distracted by Snake distracted me with his thing.
So kind of like Eddie. So kind of like Eddie with the quarter stuck to the sidewalk.
Got my couple bells.
It was in the middle of a not sidewalk. It was in the middle of a fucking crosswalk, like a crosswalk on a fucking intersection, and it was busy. So it's like, oh hey, Penny, better pick it up quick, and then just grabs Penny and expects it to come up, but then I lose my grip, soon realizing it was fucking part of the road. I'm like, oh shit, better move quick.
Gotta go fast.
And I'm like, what the fuck? This bullshit.
Does anyone have any news stories? Like, any updates with them?
Yeah, but mine's lengthy. Again.
Yeah, so...
I just simply wanted to say that I figured out how to emulate Super Nintendo and Genesis games.
What? Me.
No, you.
What?
I figured that for Super Nintendo, I have to use SNES 9X, which I heard was the most. Like, I went for accuracy instead of like, getting it to move fast and run better. And
what do you mean move fast and run better? What does that mean?
Huh?
What does move fast and run better mean?
Like, essentially, you're making the game like move at a higher speed than it's supposed to.
Like 60 FPS?
I guess. Like, I tried using RetroArch, which is supposed to combine all these, meant to be like a central hub for emulators. Both Genesis emulators they offered sucked. I tried running Castlevania Bloodlines on them. It stuttered like hell. And then I found Fusion. Fusion is supposedly one of the most accurate Genesis emulators. I download it.
Oh,
it's accurate to the point where they even show a static screen as though you're on an old CRT TV.
Or in other words, a filter.
I have Kega emulator, Kega Fusion. It's really good.
Yeah. And, like, the best part is it doesn't just run Genesis games. It'll even run Master System games, 32X, and Sega CD.
Yeah, it's really good. I use it to play Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because I only have Sonic 3, so...
Currently, I've only played I've downloaded a whole bunch of stuff that... I've downloaded a whole bunch of stuff I would either plan to get on cartridge at some point, or stuff that's so expensive I would never try to get it because I'll break the bank. Like for instance, Fusion's the only way I'm ever gonna play Sega CD games because I'm not gonna shell out well over $200 to $500 just to get a Sega CD and games to play on it. So currently the only two games let's see. I played Castlevania Bloodlines, which is the only regular Genesis game I probably wouldn't buy because it's like $50 a piece. And then there's only two Sega CD games in particular I have, which are Snatcher, which is notably one of Hideo Kojima's earliest games that's heavily story-driven. And the other one is The Terminator, the one the AVGN played.
Not the one you played?
Oh, hell fucking no.
Is MarioTube still here? I guess so. Yeah, I can't tell about this camera. But hey, Mario, something you're forgetting on the. There's something you're forgetting on the background, the setup.
The background. Oops.
Yeah. Something's missing.
Anyways.
Wow, nice. It's in the text. Great.
Well, what I was gonna say is that if you don't know what Terminator game I'm talking about the one from Terminator Part 1 of AVGN's reviews, where he first looks at the NES game, the Super Nintendo game, and how they're ridiculously impossible, but then he ends it with the Sega CD game and says it's pretty good.
Hey, I wanted to say something that you said earlier, Schnick, but I couldn't.
What?
So, you mentioned, what name of the emulator was it?
Kega Fusion, Jesse says. I just call it Fusion because that's what the program itself is just labeled as.
Well, this Fusion emulator, you mentioned that it's so accurate that it has the screen static or whatever, right?
Yeah.
When I said filter, I was going to follow up with, I honestly hate the fucking screen filters that emulators put up because
they aren't filters.
Yeah, they are.
No, like, I'm not talking about what you're doing, but Kega Fusion, Schnick sounded it weird. He made it sound like there's a filter over the game. No, when you turn it on, the emulator's like almost emulating a CRT. Like, you know, when there's no channel on the CRT, it has the white and black static. That's what it starts out on, and then you drag your game onto it, and then it starts up exactly like how you would expect it to. You could have stuff like perfect pixels, smooth edges. You could even like increase the resolution, have it look super sharp and smooth.
Oh.
So yeah, and I think you can even add on filters.
Well.
Okay, well,
So,
in that case.
Sorry to interrupt. But essentially, Terminator on Sega CD is pretty much the only game I played extensively on, and I think it's great. Like, it's probably the only good Terminator game I've ever played. It could very possibly be. It's very well possible it can be the only good Terminator game in existence.
So I was going to follow up after the misunderstanding that, honestly, every time an emulator, doesn't matter what emulator it is, every time they have a filter and I turn it on, it always looks like shit. I don't know why, but it just looks like fucking garbage. I would only like the kind of screen filter they have if I was actually playing it on a CRT TV, because at least there it looks, you know, legit, though if that's kind of an obvious statement, so probably stupid to say, but I mean, looking at it with an actual CRT looks way better than having it as a filter, because to me it just looks like lines, and even though it might be what it is exactly on a CRT, I don't know why, but every single time that I see a filter on any emulator, it just looks fucking garbage. And it's not that I want HD graphics more than a CRT graphic, but, you know, it legit just looks garbage.
The Kega Fusion is honestly pretty good. I mean, I don't use the CRT stuff. Even when I'm playing new games like Sonic Mania and all that, I usually just leave it normal.
Well, when I'm talking about the filters, I'm just saying it, you know, emulators in general. I haven't used Kega or any Sega Genesis emulator in that before. At least the ones that you download. If you're talking about, like, a Sega Genesis emulator from, you know, Sega themselves or, you know, on a Nintendo product probably, even those ones, the filters are garbage. But, I never used Kega, so I don't know what it's like, but typically, from what I've seen, emulators' CRT filters are garbage. I played a lot of emulator stuff, and all of them are just bad. I don't know why.
I don't like the line stuff, so I turned it off. But all the other filters in Kega Fusion are really good.
I mean, well, what I was gonna say was, the Terminator Sega CD game is short enough to where I might end up just playing it on a live stream at one point. It's probably got one of the best soundtracks I've heard in a game. Like, honestly, anytime I listen to the game's soundtrack, it's like, yep, they certainly don't make music like this anymore. Because I swear to God, like, that's the funny thing. Most game soundtracks nowadays just try to be like a movie soundtrack. It's just generic, uninteresting. Like, I can best describe it as freaking good old Schnick's most famous quote: "Whack whack."
You know, if I was making a game, instead of focusing on realistic sound effects, I would more so focus on satisfying sound effects. Like you know how like in Zelda Breath of the Wild when you pick up stuff and it makes a little jingle like that, instead of just, you know, like, I don't know, hand grabbing bag like how usual games like make the pickup sound. I don't know, just like more satisfying sounds like that.
Well, I think it has partly to do with the art style, because I've said it in the past, and I'll say it again. Most games' art style are realistic looking. Like, they try to go for realistic looks. So I think part of it has to do with the art style, and I think the idea is to either fit with the art style or make the immersion a little bit more powerful somehow.
Well,
yeah, that's the thing. Everyone for a long time said Nintendo had like kiddie art styles for a long time.
Well, Nintendo still kind of has it, though. I mean, they haven't lost it, but they do have games ported to there, but they're not. I mean, those ports aren't their games.
You know, it's weird. I would say American and European developed games tend to go for the more realistic art style, so to speak, and then oddly enough, Japanese games, even though a lot of them you can argue look realistic, like current Final Fantasy games and whatnot, for some reason they have their own look to it.
So I was trying to get to that, but then Adam interrupted me. But what I was trying to say is that Japanese games and Western games usually have completely different styles. Japanese games are more diverse, but also in the soundtracks. But when you think of a Japanese game like, say, Zelda or Dark Souls or Shadow of the Colossus, you'll know that everything has its own sound to it. Like, when you think of, like, Call of Duty, like, when you hear background noises of people fighting, it's not actually people fighting, it's just like a soundscape.
Yeah, you can tell that. If you think about that, you can tell the difference between a Japanese game and an American game. Kind of, I think most American games just like the FPSs now.
Yeah.
Well, they're more so leaning towards the era of open world games rather than the era of FPSs. The era of FPSs has kind of died.
Well, actually,
I mean, it's
that's not really a true statement, though, because look at Fortnite. It's literally okay.
It's not.
I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this. Well, hold on.
It's third person.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this right now. Okay, first point. Don't care if it's third person. It's basically a shooter game regardless, because the only thing that changes is the point of view, and that's literally it. So my point still stands. First off, second. A few years ago, like around 2014 specifically, League of Legends was like the #1 game that you would see on the very top of the browse list on Twitch. Nowadays, it's Fortnite that's on the top. And before Fortnite, I believe it was Hearthstone, at least last I looked at that point in time. So if Fortnite has been consistently #1 on Twitch, I think that it's safe to say that shooting games in general have not died yet. In fact, they're still pretty high up there. Though most of them, I will say, are generic.
I'm not saying that they died. I'm saying that they're starting to die. That they're dying.
No, I wouldn't even agree with that, to be honest.
Back then, there was way more popular shooting games. There was Call of Duty. There was Medal of Honor. There was Metal Gear. There was Splinter Cell. I mean, they all have differing games.
Can I step in for a minute?
Sure.
Sorry to come in abruptly, but the thing is, I would agree that multiplayer shooters are kind of starting to tamper off, and only the popular ones are sticking around.
Yeah.
The big example is that is Lawbreakers. It tried to cash in on what it thought was the hero shooter, which was Overwatch. Like, it's like, oh, we're multiplayer only, but we're hip, we're cool, come on, play us. The game flopped so hard that a lot of people have doubts that Overwatch clones will ever be successful.
Yeah, the genre is just kind of stagnant because it's more of a one-and-done deal rather than a more diverse, because you can't really diversify it. I mean, Overwatch in itself is kind of just an expansion off of Team Fortress 2, so...
Well, I mean, there's ways you can diversify it, it's just more difficult to... I don't remember the name of the game, but I believe it was revealed last year of a game being developed in which you shoot a body part of an enemy, and basically they shrink and you grow, pretty much.
That's the Switch game.
Yeah, but it's not. Well, technically, it's not a Switch-only game. I believe it's coming out. Well, it's trying to come out on PC, and the game hasn't even released at all yet, which is kind of surprising. But, But I wish I remember the name of the game, but I can't.
I doubt that's going to be successful. Like, you could be like, oh yeah, that's coming out, but is it going to be successful and super popular? Is it going to have a place in the market?
Okay, but I'm saying that it can be diversified.
Well, I just wanted to say this. A primary reason why shooter games are losing relevance is because a lot of them are trying to think, oh, if we go all people want is multiplayer. We don't have to focus on single player. All that does is kill your game faster if it's not a success, because if the game is not a success at first, the few people that might get interested in down the line will take a look, they'll see how popular the servers, how populated the servers are, and if they're like, oh, the game's dead, then they're not going to buy it. Whereas if it had single player, they would have at least considered buying it for that.
I'm honestly surprised that... I'm honestly surprised that you guys haven't mentioned the argument that shooter games have been done to death for so many years at this point that people are probably getting tired of it.
That's what I was getting to. I don't think it has to do with the game's content, because the game could have very little content, but can still be very, very enjoyable. Shadow of the Colossus, freaking Call of Duty, as stupid as it is a very fun arcade shooter for a while. And like Black Ops 3, like the least interesting thing about it is its single player. Like literally the only interesting thing about Black Ops 3 is some of its multiplayer and zombies, and even then they're broken as heck. So I mean the main draw to it is just the way I see it.
If the rumors about Black Ops 4 are true and they're getting rid of the single player mode, but like I said in the chat, it's a good thing I decided to stop after World War II. Like, I figured I'll buy World War II because it's basically returning the series to where it all began, and that's like the perfect swan song. It came full circle.
I don't believe Call of Duty rumors, because there was a rumor saying that Modern Warfare 2 Remastered was coming out, which is true, but they were saying that it's not going to have single player, and then I'm just sitting there like, no, they wouldn't do that.
No,
like, don't believe rumors.
The rumors was that it's going to be campaign only and no multiplayer.
Or yeah, campaign only. I mean, it's like no, they're obviously going to have multiplayer. Just think about it. Like, it's just rumors about that. Like, I highly doubt Call of Duty rumors. Tons of them have been false in the past. Like Black Ops 3 rumors, stuff like that.
Don't judge. No, not judge. Don't believe in rumors. Number one rule.
Yeah, like
that's better.
Saying like, oh, Call of Duty could go single player only, or they're gonna go multiplayer only. Multiplayer only seems likely, but I don't think they're gonna do that. I mean, they tried really, really hard with World War II to make it a good campaign. Like, World War II has probably the best Call of Duty campaign in years. Because
it does. It's all. I think it's all in the fact that they get rid of health regeneration. It actually feels intense.
Well, keep in mind that we're talking about specific developers too, because they're all not just one developer.
Yeah, but they're all under Activisions Rule. So if
Well,
decides change it up,
okay, they're all under Activision's rule to an extent. They still have some freedom of creativity.
They have creative freedoms, but I feel like if they're gonna do something, like they straight up can't take out loot boxes if they wanted to. Like for Black Ops 3, they actually did not want loot boxes, but Activision was like, no, so they had to. And
speaking of which, I just realized that Overwatch is under Activision's control, since Activision and Blizzard are the same company.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't even think anyone really mentions Overwatch anymore.
Yeah, like I actually saw on the freaking YouTube search, like in my freaking recommendations on the main page, I see a video saying "Rip Overwatch."
Yeah, and how many years did that last? Like, what, 2 years?
2.
Fucking
At
even
least,
if.
At least you can freaking play with bots though, like Team Fortress, so people can at least still play it.
Oh yeah, actually I just remembered another example of diversity is Splatoon. That is really diverse.
Yeah,
So-
Splatoon is also diverse, and it's also deep too, because as you level up, you actually unlock stuff. In Call of Duty, all you do is unlock guns, and it's kind of the same as Splatoon, but in Splatoon, you also unlock the abilities, you also do the scrubbing stuff, because as more you do it, you just get more options, and then you get the crunch meals and all that. It just, it starts to become more diverse and more deep the more you play Splatoon, which is one of the reasons why it's so addicting.
Mm-hmm. The only problem with the games, though, is just there's no offline single-player multiplayer, if that makes sense, or... Wow, I don't even know why I said that. That was really confusing. Offline bots. I don't know why there's no offline bots. They can... I've actually heard arguments where people legit said, oh, Splatoon possibly can't have offline bots. Bullshit, they can't.
There's Octolinks.
Yeah,
Octolinks.
single player has it. Why not multiplayer? What the fuck?
No, it's funny. It's funny because anytime I try to find out if a multiplayer game has bots, I legitimately hear people defending games not having bots by saying, "Oh, but they're hard to program."
Oh, I've heard that. I've actually heard that one too. That's one of the main arguments.
No, that's
don't you think the effort would be worth it?
Yes, it'd be worth it because, say if you make a really nice AI bot that could track all that stuff, you could use it for the next game. So if you just work really hard for 1 year, then you don't have to do it ever again. Say if there's going to be a Splatoon 3, a Splatoon 4 in the future, however long, then if they work really hard to create, if they did work hard to create bots for the single player and multiplayer, then they could just repurpose them for more games. Same thing with Call of Duty.
That is something that Call of Duty does very well. They've always included bots ever since.
Well, not always. Not always.
Black Ops. No, so ever since Black Ops 1, it's always had bots.
Modern Warfare 3 never.
Well, see,
Modern Warfare 3 never had bots.
In 1 and 2, they had combat training. In Modern Warfare 3, they had the survival mode, and then ever since Black Ops, ever since Ghost, they've just had bots.
Okay, survival mode, yes, but multiplayer in general, no.
But you can still play on all the multiplayer maps, so technically it counts, but there's still a way to explore the maps.
Well, I guess, but without bots, it's not really offline bots unless you're talking about survival, but other than that, it's... Oh, and also whatever that other mode was.
There are offline bots for Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2.
But
the combat mode.
Though...
No, not combat training mode, just straight up. If you go into a local match, you could just add bots.
And I think Black Ops 3 even had it too. Or shit Ops 3.
Yeah, you can.
What?
No, since
Snake,
Black
you
Ops
played
1,
it
Black
with
Ops
me,
2,
didn't
Modern
you?
Warfare 3. It's been around for quite a while, Snake.
Yeah, Snake,
straight up.
You even played it with me on fucking online. Online multiplayer offline bots. If that makes any sense.
I think that was combat training.
Well, I mean, there's combat training, but there's also, offline...
Yeah, offline bots.
It's basically multiplayer, but with bots.
Pick your map, make sure bots are on, and then bam.
Like, you literally
Right.
go under multiplayer, I believe. It's not even... You know, it's... I don't even know how else to explain it. I'm just gonna repeat myself if I try. But, yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, I guess. Well, I guess real fast.
Anyways,
Real fast. To my catching up part, this is going on forever again.
Sorry.
I've been recording Let's Plays again for the last 2 nights.
Ow.
I'm doing Phoenix Wright, so I'm doing voices again, and it's kind of I realized why I stopped doing that back in December because it's hurting my throat again.
yeah.
In those voices.
That's why people usually have glasses of water when they do Let's Plays. So,
Yeah. This. I don't
Also-
think I don't think this is catching up anymore because this is more like talking about games now. It's more just catching up at this point.
I mean, I wanted to go into the freaking topic I talked about.
Yeah, catching up
yesterday
always
on
seems to
your
take a.
stream.
Last week catching up seemed to take about an hour and a half.
yeah,
I guess we...
I actually didn't.
maybe I
really
should...
do it
Maybe I
like that.
should not have catching up and just change it on the fly more. Because
Or just
catching up
have-
has kind of died off.
Or just have a longer podcast, like an extra 30 minutes.
We
or so.
don't do podcasts over 2 hours because we've gotten complaints from viewers saying that it lasts way too
And yet
long.
those complaints haven't surfaced for well over a year at this point.
But it's because we've been doing it for 2 hours, and that was fine for the viewer base, so we just do 2 hours. I think 2 hours is honestly kind of sufficient, generally. We've had
Yeah,
a
sometimes
couple times where
we
we
go-
went over, but
Yeah, sometimes we go further, like on the season's finales. That's we have a lot to talk about on the finales.
yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, finale's an exception.
Anyways, we kind of detracted a lot from my points of Japanese games and Western games having different ways they handle sounds. So I'm gonna just say that Japanese games have way better sound effects than Western games. Exception being old Call of Duty games which had really satisfying gun sounds and stuff like that, which is why I started talking about first-person shooter design. But yeah, so
I mean,
I'm
but
gonna I'm gonna do a quick thing where I explain what's been happening with me. So I finally wrapped up all my filming for a project that I've been working like 2 months on in our folks' room. And also, what else have I been doing? Brandon finished the Kirby Right Back At You series. He's watched all the episodes.
BRB.
Nice.
There was one episode that I saw where basically King DDD, right, was doing like a television program to brainwash the citizens, but Kirby jumped in on the set, and since it was like a miniature set, it looked like Kirby was huge. So then like the town citizens, one of the town citizens was watching TV and was like, huh, somebody must have been feeding Kirby steroids.
Wait, they said that?
Yeah, they said that. They're like, looks like somebody's been feeding Kirby steroids. Like, and then, like, straight up, just imagine that. Kirby on steroids, it's just super deep voice, just, oi.
Actually, wait a minute. I have a
Oi.
question. I didn't think to ask this before, but did he watch the Japanese version or the American version?
Probably Japanese.
He's seen all, I mean, it's English.
So he's-
and you can
but-
watch a
but
playlist
is
of
it-
English stuff.
But is it... Oh, he watched the English version. Okay.
Yeah, the English versions.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's-
she said steroids in English? 4 kids wouldn't have done that.
No, that's straight up what they said. There was this one time where Tiff, one of the characters, fell on her butt and she was going to say, ow, my ass, but she stopped in the middle of saying ass and just looked up and being like, she falls down and she's like, ow, my ass. It was really funny. And like the first episode too, an octopus monster comes out of nowhere and kills all the sheep. All the sheep turn into skeletons, and it's really sad and really gruesome. It's really gruesome.
Hey, Jesse, you watching the chat or the stream itself?
No, I'm not in the stream.
Well,
I can't
we're
see the chat either because I'm on phone. And if I try to see the chat, it's going to suspend the call.
Yeah. That's why I wish you could use your laptop in the game room, whatever. Move your laptop around a little bit more.
Oh yeah, I go to MRHS, Pokesaurus. I know all about you. Brendan's talked about you. So.
I know all about you.
I know when you sleep. I know when you wake.
And now.
And I know where you live. It's... Ah!
Now Adam's gonna have more conspiracy theories about me.
Me?
Probably.
I mean, you never know. It could have already happened. Oops, I think I talked too much.
They're on to me.
Yes. They're onto you.
No, you.
No! Anyways,
Okay,
so conspiracy theories aside, I thought Vandalia was gonna say something,
Yeah,
but
well,
I guess not.
So we got on game discussions, or you talking about that for another hour?
You could do the prom discussions or whatever.
Well, I
mean,
get the first.
The only thing I wanted to say is I thought visually Japanese-developed games and American-developed games have their own style.
Yeah, that's what I think
And
too.
I don't know why the Japanese-developed games look more appealing to me.
Yeah, me too. I think most of the games I do play are Japanese games. Mario, Zelda, Kingdom Hearts, Pikmin, most RPGs that I play, Phoenix Wright.
I think it's because they take more care and consideration into the presentation, like the atmosphere. Like in my opinion, when Japanese games have way better atmosphere. Like they know how to get you in a certain mood, and like every game, like every Nintendo game, despite them all being Nintendo, all distinctly have a different feel. Like a Zelda's not gonna feel like a Mario, or Mario's not gonna feel like Zelda. They're all gonna feel different. They're all gonna play different. They're all gonna have their different audiences.
In fact, this brings us to our next topic. The only American game that I own and play is WWE 2K18. Which brings us to our first topic, wrestling controversy.
Oh, oops.
This has happened.
Alright, so apparently this Friday, Alice Barrow's still in chat. He knows a lot about this. Let me check.
Speaking of this Friday, school ended up getting canceled for me, so now I'm gonna have to do an extra day. I fear the worst for you, Adam.
You fear the worst for me, huh?
Uh-huh.
Why is that?
Didn't you say you didn't want Friday to get off because then you were gonna have to do an extra day of school? You said that it's kind of bullshit.
Not just one day, but possibly more than one. Because... Oh, hey, I spelled those two words correctly. Thank God. Anyways, yeah, it's gonna be possibly more than one day, so that's gonna fucking suck ass.
So, anyways, this Friday, apparently in WWE, there's something called the Greatest Royal Rumble of all time. But apparently, since it's happening in Saudi Arabia, none of the women can wrestle. Because against the wall up there.
Why?
What?
Why?
Wow, nice response from Vandilio. What? And also, he literally just said why. It's because it's illegal.
They're Muslims, I guess. In Muslim countries, women can't do anything.
Oh.
Most of them came. Apparently, women came and watched the event unless they're in a special women's section.
What the fuck? Wow, that's
the
extremely
Muslims and Arabs
sexist.
are extremely divided in genders. Well, all two of them. So.
But yeah, it's like. So like, apparently it's called the Greatest Royal Rumble of all time, but no women are allowed to be there, and they're only going because it's money. They're paying it, like because like we don't agree with your procedure, but since you're paying us a lot of money, okay, we'll do it anyways.
That's stupid. If I was in the position, I would just change the Royal Rumble. I would just be like, no and go to a different country.
Well,
So-
I mean, it really depends on how much you're getting paid, though. Because after all, it is a business, kind of. So.
But I wonder if they're going to do an
Right,
opposite
like,
to balance it out. They're going to do like a pure women's wrestling event. Since
Like, even if it was that.
Recently, they've been trying to pump up the women's division, make it more real wrestling instead of fake real wrestling. Like they try to make the women feel more equal to men and have trials and stuff. But here, like you know what? We're gonna throw it all out. We're gonna throw that all out and get the SGW something to complain about.
Anyways, even if it was in a different country and they were paying you a lot, I think it would be best not to put a lot of attention towards it. Being like, oh, this is gonna be the greatest Royal Rumble ever. Yeah, greatest.
Saturn.
Like, even though they're paying, they're paying, and there's obviously not gonna be women there. I mean, obviously it's like advertising it, but like all other years weren't like that. Like it was like hype towards the Royal Rumble, but it wasn't like, oh yeah, it's gonna be the greatest, yeah, best. It's gonna make it seem a lot more like asinine than it already is, because it's like, what are you doing? Like, why? Like, it's fine if you're going over there and getting paid for it, but don't put a lot of attention on yourself. Being like, oh yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What's your opinion?
I'm not really sure how to respond.
Do you agree with it or don't? Do you agree or don't agree? Let's see.
Are you talking about the whole thing in general, or with Jesse's argument?
Well, both.
Well, the whole thing in general, I mean, it's kind of a given because they chose to go to a place that doesn't allow women, so I don't know. It's possibly for a thing for those people over there more so than the U.S. people. I'm not really too familiar with wrestling, so I can't really know for sure if that's the case or if like not a whole lot happens in that area, but that's my guess. As for Jesse's argument, I mean, I don't really know how to respond, to be honest. It's not a bad argument. I don't know. I just don't know how to respond to this one. I don't think I really have anything to say.
Yeah, this brings me to the point.
Mark 1 for Jesse, 0 for Adam.
Yeah, this brings me to the point. You know, we're at the SJWs again. We talk about them a lot, but over there, you know, in that country, they actually have things to complain about. Over here, not so much. Over there, women actually don't have rights. Because of the religion.
All I'm gonna say is that one, it's probably more about the money, if anything, and two, it's gonna be a given because they chose to do it, and therefore they have to agree to their laws. So, you know, at that point, it's what you think, really, because there's not really much you can say about it.
Yeah, I agree with Jesse. You know, if they have to do it, if they have to do it, you know, they'd be like, it's better than WrestleMania. It's the greatest of all time. No rules allowed though. Because they smelly. Smelly.
It probably has to do with bad marketing. Because there's a person I watch on YouTube. I don't remember his name right now, but basically he was reviewing Little Caesars Pizza. Yes, I was bored, and he was reviewing the extra bestest pizza or whatever.
Pizza.
And he was saying that the pizza was good, but the marketing was bad because the marketing was showing it off as, like, you know, literally the world's best pizza, or like the pizza with the most pepperoni or whatever, even though it didn't.
Pristine pizza.
You know, actually, I was using the pristine word recently today, so there you go.
Where did they calendar? Today's word, today is pristine.
God damn it.
It's green.
You know, that kind of ties into the topic I wanted to talk about.
Me?
Okay, before we go, what's your opinion on this, Nick?
I don't really follow wrestling,
But I know in general the topic of having
my
the greatest
question
world.
is why they choose to go to Saudi Arabia knowing that they can't have women wrestle there.
Because they're being paid a lot. So that's
They're rich
really
over there. The oil money,
Oh, okay.
probably my guess.
So they're paying
That's
them
bad
a lot. too.
Then it's freaking false advertising and bad marketing there, which brings us to what topic I was talking about in Vandelia's live stream yesterday. Do you hate when you're watching someone popular on YouTube? Usually someone who's popular. I've seen it less so with people that are not as popular. Do you hate when you're watching a video that's telling you a bunch of information and the person in the video actually gets facts wrong, and when you try to point this out, either A, which is most of the time, everyone ignores you and just cries their praises to the guy for pointing out how, oh, they are so right, they are so good, or B, which is extremely rare, and I only have one instance of this happening, they look at you, they comment and respond to you saying, LMAO, you're wrong.
Well,
I never had that happen with facts, but I've had that happen numerous times with opinions.
I've seen videos that's straight up gotten tons of stuff wrong. Then I'd be like, good structured video and all that, but you got this wrong. And some people would, people would like.
Fast Mario.
Yeah, I know you're trying to get me to change the topic, except I don't even know what Schnick is trying to call this, so I can't change it until he tells me. And I was about to ask that. So, Schnick, what do you call this?
In your statement, we'll figure this out as we go.
So you don't know.
So,
okay,
anyways,
thanks.
I've seen YouTube videos where they get facts wrong.
videos.
No.
YouTube videos.
No.
I must say false information.
False information, yes, go with that.
So, there are lots of stuff that people straight up get wrong, facts wrong. There was a Fine Brothers reaction video, right, recently with Nintendo Labo, and they were showing the kids they only showed them 3 pieces of Nintendo Labo, right? And they only showed, the basic, the piano, the fishing rod, and the motorbike, and they only showed one gameplay section of each. So with the piano, they were just straight pressing the piano, and with the bike, they were just riding around, not creating their tracks and all that. Then at the end, they're like, so Nintendo Labo is really controversial because it's $70, and the way they made it out is they made it seem like each one of the cardboard pieces are $70, and one of the kids like, wow, each one of these are $70? Well, then I guess I don't really like Labo because of how expensive it is. And then
Are you fucking
at
serious?
the end they're like, are you gonna buy it? Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about the React channel?
Yes.
Yup.
God damn it!
So,
Fuck the React channel, they're
So then-
pieces of shit. Oh my god.
so then at the very end they're like, so are you gonna be getting Nintendo Labo or not? And they're like, no, it's way too expensive for what it offers. Even though they've only showed them the most basic things and told them literally one thing about it, which was that it was made by Nintendo and that it was controversial. It's like you're not showing the product. All you're doing is writing off the controversy. That's all you're doing.
Pieces of fuck. How dare they?
I know it made Nintendo Labo look like garbage, and I'm just saying they're you guys know that it's $70 for the whole pack, right? Yeah, little detail to get wrong there, Fine Brothers. And then I left because I was really mad at the video.
No, but you before Vandalia cut you off, you made it seem like you tried to point that out, but then people responded to you.
I'm talking about not just on this video, but there have been other videos where it's more of a factual thing, not like a React channel, but say more of a review, and they get a thing wrong. They say oh, you got this wrong. Nice video, but you got this wrong. And then people would be like, oh yeah, he did get that wrong. and like some people would be like, "Oh, I was wondering about that." So,
oh my god, that has never happened with me as of yet. Like, you are fucking lucky.
well, see, first thing you gotta do is make it seem like, because people take stuff way too seriously on the internet, so you have to kind of ease them into it. That's what I kind of learned from commenting on YouTube videos, is that first you have to start out like you're friendly, which is why I say like, "Oh, nice video" and all that, and then I get to the point like, "You got this wrong." So you kind of have to build like a little.
I mean, I don't think I ever sound mean. I just kind of state why I think the opinion isn't right, and I'm always nice about it. It's just that I never get freaking responses on anything, like for some reason.
Okay, two possible reasons why.
And you would think that when somebody, it seems that no one else ever wants to point out that something is wrong, in my experience.
Two possible reasons why they react badly towards you. One, either they take it way too personally, or two, even though you try not to sound mean, to them it just appears as, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that you're trying to intentionally be like this, but all I can really say is that they probably get the wrong idea, because you can't really read emotions entirely through text, because like a lot of the times when you're being sarcastic, someone is bound to not even catch on the sarcasm, because sometimes you just can't tell.
Yeah, like you can't know how people are gonna read your sentence in their head.
The whole point I was trying to get is that I've never been directly bashed for me trying to correct these things. 9 times out of 10, I was just completely ignored, and I would like go through the comments, and I would never see anyone else bring anything up. Once, when I was making the comments on the stream and in the Discord chat earlier, I was noting how this mostly happened on Watch Mojo videos. But today, when I was looking through old comments, I actually found one single Watch Mojo video where my comment actually got attention.
If you're doing it on popular channels, then most likely your comment is lost in the sea of other comments, so...
Honestly, the point I'm trying to get across is, number one, when it's at a point, because there is going to be a point where it's not lost, and there's millions of people, there's thousands of people that are probably going to see it, and they just ignore you. And number two, even though I delve deep into the sea of comments, I'm not necessarily looking for my comment. I'm looking for other people who voice the same concerns, and it never happens. Everyone just mindlessly follows whatever channel it is.
That's weird. Because usually when I'm down in comment sections, there's at least one person who has a similar, argument to mine. So, do you want to know?
I mean, well, I'd always have to check again. But now, what I was going to try and say is, in said Watch Mojo video where I got attention, essentially it was in their top 10 hardest N64 games video. They put Perfect Dark on the list. But in my personal opinion, GoldenEye was harder than Perfect Dark.
Yeah, I mean, Perfect Dark is a bit weirdly structured, but it's not as hard as GoldenEye.
Yeah, GoldenEye can get ridiculous, even on the easiest difficulty. But I posted a comment. I got a couple of people that agreed with me saying, yeah, why didn't they put GoldenEye on there? But then there were other people saying, what are you talking about? Perfect Dark is harder. And at one point I bring up Natalia in GoldenEye. She gets killed so easily. Even on agent difficulty, you can't. And then there was this one guy that literally responded, LMAO, you're wrong. On agent difficulty, Natalia can't die by enemies, only you can kill her. Which is horrendously false, because as someone who's actually played through GoldenEye, Natalia's not invincible just because you're playing on the easiest difficulty. She can and will die by NPC fire. It just takes a little bit.
Yeah, is that what you responded to him, or did you just be like, "What, mate?"
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
I didn't even see. I didn't even know the reply came in because like in the "I hate everything" video, I didn't even know I was still getting replies on that.
Yeah. Also, you want to know, like, this really gross video or gross comment section, I'd say.
Actually, before you say that, Jesse, Schnick, I'm surprised you didn't even know, because wouldn't YouTube notify you whenever you get a reply on something?
It notifies you, like, 20% of the time. Like, say if you get a comment with a bunch of likes and a bunch of replies, it's not gonna do every reply. It's only gonna do, like, maybe 2 or 3 of those replies.
Well,
And
yeah,
that's
but
why
I've had...
switching over to Twitch.
Yes, but I've had notifications saying that someone has replied. Sure, it's not every single comment, but that's actually a good thing, because if it was, then, well, if your fucking comment got a lot of attention, that would be fucking ridiculous, but, eh.
It used to be where
it'd
be one notification saying, these people replied to your comment, rather than just one person, which I preferred the old system, but apparently they changed it, so.
I preferred the system where they actually had the comment section in the notification box, not making you go directly to the video.
Yeah, that was also really nice. Anyways, so if you know Clean Prince Gaming, he makes pretty decent videos, right? And one of his videos was why Breath of the Wild won't revolutionize the gaming industry. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Breath of the Wild was pretty revolutionary, but I'll see what he has to say about it, because I usually like his videos. Despite me disagreeing with some of his opinions, I still usually like his videos. Basically, his argument wasn't that Breath of the Wild was bad, but that game companies don't have the time and management to make a game as big and expensive as Breath of the Wild, and that they care more so about being the next big thing rather than being a good game. Then that was his whole point of argument, but literally the comment section was, Breath of the Wild is trash, Breath of the Wild, all Breath of the Wild did was steal from other games, Breath of the Wild isn't unique. I'm so glad that that people agree with me that Breath of the Wild is mediocre. Like, I'm just saying they're like, that's not the point of the video. And in my opinion, Breath of the Wild isn't mediocre. It did a lot of things right, and there's a reason why it got so many 10s, not just because it's Zelda. And some person was like, no, it's trash. And then I'm just saying they're like, and like, I wouldn't be bothered with it if these types of comments were getting like 200 likes, 60 likes, stuff like that. And I'm just like, why? Why are these comments here?
Apparently, according to some people, Breath of the Wild is the first Zelda game that's open world since Zelda 1, original Zelda game.
Well, that is kind of true. I mean, technically speaking, NES Zelda was kind of open world.
There were people saying like, I liked Breath of the Wild, but it wasn't a Zelda game like Ocarina of Time was, and I'm just sitting there like, well, technically it is more Zelda than Ocarina of Time, because it's more so closer to the first game. And then they're just like, yeah, but that's not what I associate with Zelda, so it's trash. And I'm just sitting there like,
well,
okay, so
if you have question. Does it have Zelda in it? Yes, then it's a Zelda game. There you go. If it has Zelda, it's a Zelda game.
I mean,
I said that, yeah, it changed up the formula a lot, but like its basis, it still feels like a Zelda game.
Well, here's what the problem though is: you can't just call a game trash without backing up why you think it's trash. Like, okay, I'm just gonna say this right now. Also, the comment where someone said it stole a lot of ideas. Okay, so you bash Zelda for being quote-unquote unoriginal. So what are your thoughts on other games like Call of Duty or Battlefield, etc., etc.? What, those don't steal ideas either? Or those aren't unoriginal? Like, how? How, like, if you say, if that person said, oh, Call of Duty and Battlefield is original, then I'll call their fucking bullshit, because they do the same thing almost every year, so, what the fuck?
But the point was that Zelda's, like, Breath of the Wild's mechanics wasn't groundbreaking or new, so therefore it wasn't revolutionary. I'm just like, well, some of the mechanics aren't new. It's one of the first games to combine all these aspects together and do it so well, like, so great. And they're just like, no, weapons break, and I'm just like, there's a reason why they break. It's for strategy, and, you know, to get more weapons, because like in Skyrim, if you hoard all your stuff, and you're only going to use, like, 5 of those weapons, so what's the point of having all this diverse, you know, supply, and all you're going to do is...
Hollow Fox said when Blight Ganon was kind of an easy boss, though.
Yeah, Ganon was easy, but...
By the way, if you're talking about... final boss of Breath of the Wild, I never beat it, so just as a fair warning.
I think it's the final boss. I think it's one of the mini bosses to win Ganon, I guess.
But like, if people are willing to give other games 10 out of 10 because, quote unquote, it's fun, or it has free, all that, it's like you're ignoring some of the other aspects of the game. Like, I feel like there's biased against certain stuff. Like, say if the game does literally everything right, but one thing slightly a bit bad, then everybody's gonna focus on the bad thing rather than the stuff it does good. And that's basically what Breath of the Wild is saying, that, oh man, weapons break a little too fast, the boss was easy, and the world was too big. And then
the world was too big. It's an open world game. How can you call an open world game too big? That's fucking retarded.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you want to go to the video and see like these comments, then you can. Because I'm being serious. These are some of the comments I'm seeing, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Why are these getting likes?
Yeah. Sometimes games try new things, like in Zelda 2, they tried doing even more RPG side scroller thing. People don't like it. In Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, they tried doing card battles. Most people don't like it. They tried new things. Let's try new things. Like, no, people don't like it. Let's go back to the originals.
I'm gonna agree. Chain of Memories is kind of hard to play because of that weird mechanic.
Yeah, I had problems with that too, personally.
See, the thing is, when you take risks, it's either gonna fail or it's gonna be good.
Yeah, look at Nintendo.
Breath of the Wild, it got most of the stuff way better than it did wrong, which I think is an amazing achievement. So, saying that it's just like, I've literally seen people say Breath of the Wild is just a copy off of Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain, and I'm sitting here like, yeah, it has the similar open combat to Phantom Pain, but it's like so completely different in how you go about things, and that every camp is not the same, and that there are moblins, bokoblins, Lizalfos, like, there are differing enemies rather than just scouts. Like, I don't know, it's just like, people are saying that Breath of the Wild just doesn't do enough stuff differently. I'm just like, would you rather have somebody do something completely different and it being mediocre, or would you rather have somebody doing stuff that has been mediocre in the past but has perfected it or near perfected it? Would you rather have something that's kind of samey but amazing, or something completely new that's mediocre?
Well, I say both. Take chance. I say take chances to see if it works or not. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it works so well, but it's ahead of its time, and people don't like it at the time. They go back later, like, oh, they come back later, years later, like, oh, that was a good idea.
Kind of, but I agree that we have to take risks, but Zelda, it didn't take a risks in terms of gaming as a whole. Like, people are saying, like, oh, it didn't diversify gaming, it didn't evolve gaming. I'm just like, does it have to? Does it have to? And then they're just like, well, if it doesn't, that means it's a bad game.
Oh,
just like,
what? Are you fucking serious? People actually said that?
And just like, you have these ridiculous expectations that almost no company can surpass. And I'm just like, why? Like, Metal Gear Solid 5, yeah, it did have the open combat structure, but there have been other games that's had that. It's just that Metal Gear Solid 5 did it well, and that's why people liked it for the most part. I mean, the story was a bit meh, but that's why people liked it, because they did it so well. They didn't like it because it was new.
Why are you making that sound?
Well, some people, I know some people don't really like Metal Gear Solid 5.
Nick, what's your opinion on taking chances? You're quiet. You can't talk to the people there. What's your opinion on taking chances of games?
I'm not very happy on my topic was kind of hijacked for this, but
I'm sorry.
But honestly, I'd rather have games be different than the same all the time. But I don't know.
We got to your topic now. Sorry, we got to your topic later, Jesse. But
like, essentially, what I was trying to do, what I was trying to say is there. So I mentioned the one Watch Mojo video where I actually got attention, a little bit of attention, because essentially my big problem is I don't have a problem with people having their own opinions. Like, there's one guy on YouTube called Dark Lord Shadow. He hated Duke Nukem Forever, but I actually like it. And I even posted a comment on his review saying, I'm probably going to get flack for this, but am I the only one that liked this game? And he actually responds, and keep in mind, this is a guy that tore the game apart. He was pissed off at it in this video. And he posts a comment saying, no, that's fine. I'm glad you were able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Some people are like, yes, be like, yes, your opinion's wrong, you're stupid, here's the paragraph why.
I'm kind of a mix. Sometimes when I'm like really mad and stupid, then I'd say like your opinion's wrong, but for the most part I'd say, well, it's more like 70-30. I'd be like, I mean, I didn't really like the game, I see its flaws, but I could see why you would like it. So that's pretty much what I say.
Yeah, well, so in terms of opinions, that's what that's why I don't have a problem with. What I do have a problem with is when people take what basically claim facts and push them as true.
Mm-hmm.
And
wait a minute, did you say claim facts and push them as true?
No, essentially they get facts wrong, but they push them as true.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at the chat to see what examples I put in.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I was one of the few people who actually liked Color Splash, and I kind of disagree with the arguments with the battle system, especially. But yeah.
Sorry for going silent. People came in.
Oh.
See, that's another reason why. I mean, I'll be okay with it when when I'm finally able to do the podcast at home full time. But anytime I'm trying to say something and I get hijacked, chances are by the time I'm finally able to speak again, people come in and then I can't speak.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
You should speak up a little bit.
I mean, I tried to, but I don't want to cut people off. But
I sometimes cut people off when there's something really important. So,
all right, well,
don't be afraid.
This topic's not going to go on for too long. I just want to hear everyone's opinions after it's done. So, what I don't like is when people push false information as fact. Like Watch Mojo, they are incredibly guilty of it. So one of their videos that I brought up in the Discord chat today, in their video where they listed off the top 10 hardest GTA missions, which is covering the entire series, by the way, They bring up the GTA 4 mission, the Snowstorm. And they claim it's hard because basically you have to go into like a wrecked building and you have to get cocaine. And as soon as you get it, like a whole bunch of SWAT teams descend on you because they were expecting you to come. And then you have to like fight your way through like a 4-star wanted rating or something. They keep saying, oh, it's so hard to get out of the area. This is a very hard mission. Except this particular mission has a very easy solution that's not a hack or anything. In order to easily pass the mission, all you have to do is jump in the water nearby, and then there's a boat. Like, it's not even like someone's driving the boat. It's just sitting there on the dock. So you go jump in the boat, drive the boat away, the cops can barely follow you. I mean, sure, they can go in a helicopter and follow after you, but eventually if you drive out in the sea, you're gonna lose them.
IQ 900.
So I point this out in the video saying, well, actually, I pointed it out twice at 2 different times. And I'm like, actually, there's an easy way to beat that mission. Just go in the boat that's in the water nearby. No one responds.
Wah, wah.
No, in fact, I scroll through the comments, all I'm seeing is people doing Big Smoke memes. Because all you had to do was follow the damn train, CJ. It's like, it's ridiculous, because this solution's on the GTA wiki. It's not like it's very little known.
Maybe, there's times where Watch Mojo just straight up I feel like they don't work that hard on their top 10s.
Well, I mean, part of the reason why it's like that, well, maybe not even part, more like maybe entirely, is because of the fact that they literally attempt to upload videos every single day of the fucking year, it seems like. Maybe even on holidays, too. So, is it really much of a surprise as to why their quality is not good? Let's be honest.
Mario, you're gonna love this. Well, Jesse, go on, and then go on.
There was a time where Watch Mojo was uploading 4 videos a day for weeks on end.
They don't do that anymore?
They still upload at least 1 a day, though. So,
but they don't upload 4 videos a day?
So they're essentially the dark side Phil of top 10 lists.
Pretty much, they upload like so much stuff that it's like, 1, some of these top 10s don't make sense, and 2, some of these top 10s are completely garbage, and you're really reaching. Like, it feels like some of their things they put on their list are straight up just really odd. Like, there was one that was top 10 most overpowered characters, and then they talk about this random Simpson boxing game where Flanders is super overpowered. I'm just like, wait, what? What is this game?
Well, 2 things. Number 1, I remember a very infamous example where people actually essentially, normally when Watch Mojo pulls that crap, people don't seem to notice, but one time, they actually crossed the line, to the point where they actually had to respond and say sorry.
Why?
They made a list of the top 10 worst Disney cartoons. They put Gravity Falls on the list.
Oh, no.
They put it like in the top 5.
Oh no!
That's their opinion, but as a fact, that's their opinion. But I liked it.
No, generally, Watch Mojo claims that they base everything on fact, based on what the popular opinion is.
Okay, you can't do that. Based it on fact. Based on the opinion. Opinion does not equal fact. That makes no fucking sense.
But what's stupid is like Gravity Falls.
It's what our viewers say.
What's stupid is that Gravity Falls was extremely popular.
And it's funny. You know what their reasoning for calling the show bad was?
Why?
It's too dark.
What? It's not even that dark.
No, you know what? You know a cartoon that was a kid's cartoon that's even darker than Gravity Falls ever will be?
Ren and Stimpy.
Exactly. And also,
Yeah.
thank God you said that because I actually forgot the name.
Well,
Honestly, I never got into that cartoon myself. People talked about it all the time. I'm like, whatever.
It's gross humor. Like it's like really loud, obnoxious, gross
Yeah,
humor.
I never got into. Sorry to take your topic against Nick, but I never got into the Ren and Stimpys and the Beavis and Buttheads. I never really, like what. I'm like, whatever. I really got into that.
Beavis and Butthead is actually really good. Like, it's more so subtle humor than it is loud and obnoxious humor. But anyways, you could continue, Snick.
alright, the second time, I personally think they crossed the line, except this time people didn't bat an eye to it. In their top 10 zombie games list, they put Call of Duty Zombies at number 1.
Well, but it's not a zombie.
That's right, in a list filled with actual zombie games like Resident Evil and Dead Rising, they put Call of Duty Zombies, which isn't even a full game. It's a game mode in a game that otherwise has nothing to do with zombies.
Why did they put Left 4 Dead on there?
I'm pretty sure they did somewhere, but it wasn't at number 1, I'll tell you that much.
You know, it'd be funny with it. What if they put Minecraft on the list?
If they put Minecraft on the list, I don't know if people would have lost their shit or not, but...
They probably would have lost their shit.
But now, yeah, so as we can tell, Watch Mojo's probably not the brightest bulb when it comes to top 10 lists. But what I was... So we bring up the GTA thing. I forget what other specific example I brought up in the live stream, but the example I brought up that made me completely stop Watch Mojo. I did everything I could to get them out of my recommended list, and I did. I don't get recommended their videos anymore.
Top 10 Schnick rage moments.
God damn it. Don't remind me about that.
Rage moments.
Don't remind me about that.
I really wish they made a top... I wish someone made a top 10 Schnick rage moments. Doesn't have to be you, MarioTube, but...
Well, I feel like it does have to be me because I made the promise, but I haven't really followed up at all.
I mean, to be fair, it's going to be hard to search for the best moments unless I tell you what they are. Or if I track down each individual Schnick rage moment, like, here, work with it.
I suppose, but I'd probably just, like, bring it down to a year or a series or something. Probably a year.
Well, the whole thing is, so they made a top 10 list of the worst horror games based on worst games based on horror movies. That's what it is. They mention Evil Dead, A Fistful of Boomstick. Okay, and now I don't know if any of you know about these games. You probably don't, but now I'm going to describe it. So, they say Evil Dead, A Fistful of Boomstick. It was a bad follow-up to Evil Dead, Hail to the King. Such a bad follow-up that Bruce Campbell didn't even reprise his role as Ash.
What?
And not only did they get an outright fact wrong, like, it's your opinion if you think A Fistful of Boomstick for some reason is worse than Hail to the King, which I'll get to in a minute, but you claim Bruce Campbell didn't even do the voice. That is an outright fact wrong, because in actuality, he did do the voice. He did the voice in all 3 Evil Dead games, by the way. Hail to the King, Fistful of Boomstick, and Regeneration.
Wait, how did they get that wrong? That makes no sense.
I wanted to see how Bruce Campbell would have reacted, because as far as I can tell, nearly everything that has had Ash Williams in it, Bruce Campbell's done it.
Oh. That's like saying that there's not a drop button when there's a drop button on screen.
No, that's Darkside Phil levels.
No,
that's
Game Grumps did that,
levels.
actually. But
anyways.
Darkside Phil's done that numerous times. He didn't. There was one point when he played MGS2 where he didn't know how to use rations.
But yeah, he could play Dark Souls. Anyways.
But so, not only did they get that fact wrong, they were saying, because I've played all 3 games, I own them. They didn't mention regeneration at all, but I thought A Fistful of Boomstick was a decent hack and slash game. They compare a decent hack and slash game and say it's a disappointing follow-up to a crappy Resident Evil clone.
Well, why?
I don't know. They are. If it's true that the staff at WatchMojo actually thought Hail to the King was a good game, then I don't know what. They're probably the only people I've ever seen that liked it. Like freaking the AVGN Nostalgia Critic did a freaking James and Mike Monday's Let's Play on Hail to the King, and sure, in retrospect, when I've played a lot of the games that the AVGN played, I've started to notice that they might not be as good at modern games. Like, for instance, like, I definitely got that fact from when I freaking play Sonic 06, and AVGN keeps getting game overs on the first level, yet I did the first level without really losing a life. Well, I lost 1 or 2, but that was it. But still, pretty much everyone I've ever seen was calling Hail to the King not a very good game, and here we have WatchMojo saying, oh, it was so good, why did Fistful of Boomstick make it bad?
Jesus Christ.
That was a Brandon level scream.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that wasn't a scream. That was a squeak.
Oh.
I put my lips and I blew air out in it like a fart noise, and then apparently it sounded like a scream. So I have to go back and listen to that.
Yeah, well, so after that, I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done. Detox from WatchMojo.
Not interested. Not interested. Not interested.
Yup, and like I have not gotten recommendations to watch their videos, and if I ever do at one point, I make sure to say not interested. So, and the thing is, WatchMojo's not the only channel that's guilty. I have 2 other examples at the moment. One was the much quoted freaking Silent Hill HD collection incidents that happened. Like, I've talked about this many times before. Essentially, it was this one channel, I forget the name of it, but it was like these 2 British guys, if I remember correctly. I think the video, they claimed, oh, we're gonna compare true HD remasters with cash grabs. And they bring up the Silent Hill HD collection, and they noted, well, the thing is, the Silent Hill HD collection is kind of infamous because, apparently it had a lot of issues at launch that were eventually fixed in the PS3 version. I beat Silent Hill 2 on the HD collection. I thought it was fine.
Interesting.
What happened?
Is it interesting?
I mean, I've heard Silent Hill 3 has more of the problems, but 2 I thought was perfectly fine. So they know at one point how apparently Konami lost the source code to the completed versions of both Silent Hill 2 and 3, and because of that, the porting studio had to work with beta versions of the games.
Oh my god. Yeah, of course the problem has to do with Konami, so...
Well, yeah, ultimately they should have made... Whoever the porting studio was should have did a better job at rebuilding the games. But still, they didn't have much to work with because they didn't have the complete source code. It was gone. And then the British guys in these videos, they say this, which, even on the freaking KH Lore podcast, when I first brought this up, even Raximus was was just jumped in his seat. He's like, but that's not how it works. So they say something along the lines of this. Really, Konami? You have the original disc. Why didn't you use those?
Oh my god, I remember you talking about this now.
Yup.
Oh.
Excuse me. Excuse. Why?
Oh,
Like they got one of the they got one of the biggest things about porting games wrong. You need the source code, or because you need to you need that source code to build a game for a particular platform. If that source code is gone, you're fucked. Your only option from there is to rebuild the game from the ground up. And truth is, some HD remasters like KH1, they needed to be rebuilt from the ground up because the source code was gone. In fact, a lot of people want Panzer Dragoon Saga on the Saturn to get a re-release. Sega has said numerous times it's impossible. The source code's gone. I point this out in the video. Everyone ignores me and says, "No, fuck Konami. Silent Hill HD sucks." And the most recent case of this happening was... Does anyone know the YouTube channel Haydox, or however you pronounce that?
Yeah, I know it.
He made
I used to not like that guy.
Huh?
I used to actually not like Haydox. But then I kind of realized that most of it was satire. And
most of it's satire?
Well, no, some of it, like, he has a lot of satire in between his criticisms. And most of it's cynical, and I'm not really into cynical humor.
I'm not really into cynical humor either. That's probably the reason why I didn't like this, but I hope for his sake what he said in his most recent video was satire.
Okay.
So, he made a video bashing EA. Typical.
Was it evil, actually, that video?
Yeah, that video. So, in fact, that's another thing me and Sparrow were talking about in the chat yesterday. I hate how people pretend that EA has never done anything good, like EA's never made a good game before, because truth is, there was a time when EA games were actually really good. Need for Speed, Def Jam, they were handling the James Bond, Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter licenses well. They had freaking Burnout. They had freaking so many things, like in the 2000s, late to mid-90s, all the way up to the early 2010s. Like, it's only recently that they've turned the shit. Truly.
Yeah. I feel like the 2000s were a really nice time for video games.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Which is why I'm glad I grew up then, so I could experience the best.
Same.
I mean, unfortunately, I didn't get to play most of those 2000s games when they were new, because the good old elementary school schnick would only ever play licensed games.
Yep.
But then I quick...
I
mean, I got to play the Harry Potter games, yeah, at least.
Yeah. Which are surprisingly
SpongeBob. And SpongeBob.
Yeah, SpongeBob games. There are a lot of licensed games that are surprisingly good, or at least decent.
Yeah, okay. That's another thing. People like to pretend like good licensed games don't exist either, except GoldenEye. And ironically, I don't think GoldenEye has aged all that well. Oddly enough, I think the EA James Bond games were better than GoldenEye.
I like Nightfire, but that's...
Oh, Nightfire's an EA James Bond game.
Oh, well then, yeah, I really like Nightfire. So...
Yeah, like freaking World's Not Enough on N64, Agent Under Fire, Nightfire, Everything or Nothing, and From Russia with Love, they were all good.
I know people have mixed opinions about it, saying that most of them were just copies of GoldenEye, but I'm just like,
But they freaking evolved from a GoldenEye. Everyone's like, oh, GoldenEye has revolutionary stealth, and I'm like, what are you talking about? That game has like no stealth at all. Like,
Well,
the moment you kill one enemy, they all know where you are.
Yeah, there's no stealth to it.
Yeah,
There is no stealth. Like, freaking World's Not Enough and Nightfire had better stealth.
yeah, I said this
Well,
in the
you-
chat already, but I grew up in the Nintendo and Super Nintendo era of games.
Super Nintendo is amazing too. The Super Nintendo era was also pretty good. There was Super Nintendo, then N64, and PlayStation 1, which was alright. And then there was GameCube, PS2, original Xbox, which is highly considered the golden age.
I even had some
Man.
of the old Atari games. I even played some of the Atari era in the early '80s. When I was,
You know it's cool. Apparently, my family has always been into video gaming. Like my grandma was even playing the Atari, so I have a long history of video gamage in my blood.
Well, yeah, we have all that. And the thing with... So, we have Haydox's video talking about EA. At one point, he brings up how EA is infamous for how they acquire studios and they keep killing them off whenever they make like 1 or 2 games. It's not a huge... That doesn't make a huge profit. He talks about Pandemic Studios at one point. He makes it sound like EA acquired Pandemic, quickly killed them off, just so they can get the Star Wars Battlefront license.
Wait. I feel like he was probably paraphrasing, but I don't know. So,
We mean paraphrasing.
like oversimplifying it.
Except
Paraphrasing
that's not
isn't-
at all what happened.
Paraphrasing isn't
Like-
oversimplifying, by the way. Just want to let you know.
I know it's more so simplifying a quote more so than oversimplifying. I think he
No,
might have
it's
just
actually it's not even simplifying a quote. It's basically taking a quote, putting it in your own words, and still referencing the source. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I guess
that's more or less what he said. He's like, oh, Pandemic Studios is acquired. Then they die within a year, just so they can just so they can take a stab at Star Wars Battlefront. That's like directly what he said, except that's not at all what happened.
So what happened?
Pandemic Studios died because they made 2 games under EA, Mercenaries 2 and The Saboteur. They were both financial disappointments, so EA killed Pandemic because of it. And that's because they both came out like in the month of November. Like they came out close to Call of Duty, like freaking World at War and Modern Warfare 2. That was probably the reason why they didn't do so well. Like they just came out at the wrong time.
Well, it could be a thing because with EA games and third-party games, they usually have deadlines, which is why games nowadays are so buggy. So
That's probably the
it could be
reason
that-
why.
it could
Is
be
that why a lot of games now have beta testers? Like MMOs and stuff. Like Warcraft is a lot. Like right now, Battle of Azeroth and Warcraft is doing the beta testing, seeing out beta keys for people.
Well,
I don't know if
So,
beta
like-
testing would be beta key stuff. I think that's more early access.
Yeah. Anyways, as I was trying to get my point, I was saying that maybe EA purposely put a deadline where the game was set to fail, but then that's the issue of money, where wouldn't they make more money if they just put it in a more...
Well, I don't
advanced-
know. I don't know. All I know is that's the real reason why Pandemic Studios died. And the thing is, Haydox was seen to be implying that they had the Star Wars Battlefront license. They didn't. LucasArts did. And
What? Wait a minute,
and when
LucasArts.
LucasArts died in like 2013 or 14 or whenever, and Disney got their assets, then Disney decided to sell the rights to Star Wars to EA. And because Disney allowed it, EA's like, hey, let's use the Battlefront name just so we can generate hype.
And then they failed, and they kind of ruined the name.
And then they failed a second time.
Yeah, they did, but until Disney freaking brought back the classic Battlefront 2 on Steam, and now they're bringing back Battlefront 1 and 2 on Xbox One.
Battlefront...
Dude, you know what?
Wait, what?
You know what's considered one of the biggest disappointments in history?
What?
It's the Battlefront 3 got cancelled right when the game was finished and was about to release. The game was finished, was about to release, and they were just like cancelled. And apparently, it was going to be like the best Star Wars game. Like, some of the developers said that they considered it to be one of the best games that they've like ever made. Like, it was a really huge achievement. And there were straight up people in there who quit video gaming, like just straight up left the industry and just worked a normal job because they were so angry that the game never released.
Oh wow!
And
like
why
it was
did it
supposed
get
to come out?
canceled?
I forgot exactly why it got canceled, but it was supposed to come out for the Nintendo Wii, and it was supposed to have support for a ton of different controllers. Like, you could use a GameCube controller, the Wiimote Nunchuck, classic controller, even third-party controllers. All that. It was supposed to have online multiplayer, which they said worked surprisingly well for a Wii game. Like Nintendo, more so like Mario Kart Wii levels, where it was very accurate for the Wii. It was supposed to be really great, but then it got dropped because of some reason, and then they're just like, nope, and then never
all I know
worked
is that
again.
Pandemic was not the developer. Free Rackle Design, the developer of Time Splitters, was behind it.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with...
Yeah, because I know Free Rackle Design went through a lot of trouble after their game Haze flopped.
Yeah. I'm gonna search Battlefront 3 cancel.
Alright,
Just to let
I just wanted to
everyone
finish
know
my
this-
point.
Oh, okay.
So, my point was, Haydock seemed to imply that EA killed Pandemic on purpose specifically to get Star Wars Battlefront, whereas when they actually got Star Wars Battlefront through a completely unrelated set of events. And not to mention, he also seemed to imply that, they wanted to get all of Pandemic Studios' assets. And then he shows a gameplay clip of Destroy All Humans, seeming to imply that EA now has the rights to the Destroy All Humans franchise, which is false. Even after Pandemic was bought out and they died, the rights to Destroy All Humans always stayed with THQ. In fact, the games keep getting re-released nowadays because of THQ Nordic.
Also, I got it slightly wrong. It was also supposed to release for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, and the reason why it was cancelled outright is because it was unable to meet its deadline by a few days. Even though they never actually said the release date. So like coming this year, and then after that they were unable to meet the exact date to finish, and they were just like, you know what, just cancel the whole thing. So was stupid. Anyways, you could go on.
Yeah, so this is like a big fact that's wrong, and I'm hoping he just said it that way to be satirical, as you said. I point this out in a comment saying that's not how EA got the Star Wars Battlefront license. So far, everyone's pretended I don't even exist.
Maybe you just find different videos that well, I guess you just always find different videos that agree with your opinion. But I guess most people,
That's not an opinion, it's a fact.
Sorry, I mean,
yeah, like, he gets information about how EA got a license wrong, and I point that out, and it's like everyone's like praising him for how, like, I know it's like all the top comments like, oh my god, your videos are so high quality. I'm like, but he gets a fact wrong, and nobody points that out. Like, sure, his videos might be high quality, but why are you pretending like he's a perfect saint? And not at least acknowledging that, oh hey, your videos are good, but you got this one thing wrong. Can you keep track of that next time?
Or they don't. Just don't. Well, I think that people just don't. I think they just don't care. Right.
I think it's more so the bias. I think it's more so the bias against EA. At the moment.
Like essentially confirmation bias. That's right. They'll eat up anything as long as it trashes EA.
Pretty much.
Hey, just to let you know, it's been an hour and 40 minutes now, so it's gonna end in about 20 minutes.
That's basically the end of my topic. Like, have you seen any of that? Do you think it's wrong or right?
I honestly didn't know that was happening until you said it. So I didn't pay attention to most things like that.
People don't fact check.
I think while EA is a trash company, I think they have the right to, see that it didn't have such a bad past, that EA wasn't always evil, that it more so got corrupted with the, 7th gen, I think? Yeah, the 7th gen.
Yeah, like midway through the 7th gen, I'd say.
I'd
say it's around 2012 when people really began to hate EA.
I think it goes back to my outro. Never stop learning, so you can not be fooled by false topics.
And that's like the most important thing. Like, anytime any of these people make a mistake, they just never acknowledge it. They just go about their business, continuing to either continue giving videos and maybe sometimes getting a fact wrong, or you just watch Mojo, you would regularly get facts wrong.
Don't treat opinions as facts. They're opinions for a reason. You have your right to an opinion, but it's not a fact.
So my point is, I often get things wrong, like myself. I'm not saying I'm innocent. I always get stuff wrong. But when I find out I did something wrong, I point it out.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, I think...
When was the last time I got something wrong?
You said Avatar was a bad game.
I mean, well, it's not the worst game, but I don't feel like playing it right now.
You said that Shrek was bad.
When I finally graduate, I'm going back to recording Harry Potter and GTA 4
and reviews. Right?
Yeah, I did write a script for Shrek on Xbox, so there's that.
Wait, a finished script?
Pretty much.
Guest story left this game.
What I'm gonna be doing over summer is getting a job, getting games, and then working on my side projects. So
I have to find something to do. I have to find some kind of work. I'm just worried about when Brandon comes to visit. Am I going to get the time off? And Mario.
Yeah.
Well,
so I'm worried because I'm not sure if I can implement the battle system I want. So,
oh God, you're talking about the shitty RPG spin-off.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to implement the battle system. I mean, I've seen online of people doing pretty complex battle systems, but I'm not sure if I could.
You basically need to know how to code.
Yeah, and I suck at coding.
So Mario, you know how to transition from this to your topic?
I mean, I don't know.
Anyways,
whatever. We don't need a. What? Wait. We're still talking about stuff.
Oh, I wanted to talk about something, but then
Delia keep in mind that we have like less than 20 minutes at this point, and my thing is pretty lengthy. But now I'm gonna have to quickly explain it.
Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
All right. Shit. That's not what I wanted to click on. Okay, there we go. Emergency pet situations. Okay, so basically what happened last night, which caused the podcast to be canceled, was my dog has this fucking thing on the back of her neck. We were told two different things. Either it was a cyst or it was a solid mass, which is what the veterinarians at our emergency pet hospital told us last night. And I don't know what I'm gonna call it, so I'm probably just gonna say cyst because that was the first thing I was told. So there's this cyst that was growing on my dog's neck at one point, and my parents neglected to get it removed for months, and it got to a point where it got really big, and it's extremely noticeable. So my dog decided to scratch at it, and when she first did it, it bled a little bit. So I'm like, oh, that sucks. And then at one point my parents get home and my mom asked me something, don't know what it was, not important, and then she walked away, and I thought, oh yeah, that's right, my dog did that thing, I better go tell my parents about it. So I walk out of my door, and before I could even say anything or even fully leave my room, my mom's walking to, like, in the fucking hallway, telling me that the dog is bleeding. And I'm like, oh. So, yeah, apparently she must have scratched at the fucking cyst even more to a point where it was legit bleeding. And it wasn't, like, a tiny amount of blood like it was at first. It was, like, a bunch of blood. So, my mom puts her in the bathtub and she tries to call the local veterinarian, and of course she was just late because it was like 40 minutes after they closed, so she had to revert to an emergency pet hospital, and she found one, and then we wrapped the dog with a towel and took her there. So we take my dog to the vet, and by the way, I just want to point out that the more time we spend waiting and not doing anything, the more blood will come out and the worse it will become. By the time we left, the blood was literally so bad that it was like a bunch going down her body. So we get to the hospital, we wait until we're called in, and we didn't wait too long until we were called in. So we go in this room and we tell them what's going on. So they go to examine the dog and they come back with her, told her that vitals were fine, and they offered to remove the cyst. However, we declined because we wanted to have the local veterinarian do that and opted to instead just have the blood stop and clean her up. So they're like, oh, okay, we'll do that. And I'll say the price after the rest of the thing. So then we wait for a while, and 20 minutes have passed after they told us what they were going to do. And I asked them, hey, did you forget about us or something? Because it's been 20 plus minutes now. And they're like, oh, no, we're so sorry. We have two doctors, two veterinarians, two technicians here, and we can't control what kind of dogs are coming in through the door and this and that. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Two veterinarians and two technicians in a fucking emergency hospital for pets? The fuck? Like, why is there so little people working in the back? That makes no sense to me. It sounds like they're fucking underemployed. Like, god damn. So
why are they open?
Because it's 24/7. What do you mean, but still? It's an emergency pet hospital. They have to be open 24/7. That's the whole point. So,
but if they're not prepared to deal with emergencies, then why be open? I mean,
I don't know.
You still have one or two.
So. I honestly do not know. So, and they also tell us how there's also dogs that are coming in, DOA, and if you don't know what that is, dead on arrival, and other dogs that are even worse off than my dog apparently. So we continue waiting, and a fucking whole another hour passes, and I ask about them again and say, hey, are you guys gonna get to my dog or what? So basically they tell me the same thing, and then finally someone decides, okay, now it's time to take the dog in, And at this point, the dog, or my dog, literally the blood is so bad that you can quite literally call it blood red. The blood looked red, and it was pretty thick. I'm not gonna lie. It was a thick amount. I was fucking shocked at how much blood there was, and she didn't stop bleeding the entire time. She just kept going. I thought the blood must eventually have to stop, right? No, fuck no, it doesn't stop. I'm like, what the fuck? The blood isn't stopping?
Wait. Can I ask one thing? So they thought it was more important to deal with dogs that were already dead as opposed to a dog that could potentially die by bleeding out?
I guess.
That's stupid.
Because dead on arrival means they're dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then why are they tending the dogs that are already dead? What, they think they're just magically going to be able to resuscitate them?
Well, I don't know if they mean dead on arrival as in quite literally by the time they're in the door they're dead confirmed, or if they think that there still could be a chance and they don't know if it's for sure they're dead until they eventually find out that they are indeed dead once they look at the dog and examine it.
It could be that they're so, like, torn up or battered that there's no chance that they could save them. So they have to put them down, which could be also considered DOA, even though it technically isn't. But
like,
it could still be the same.
Like a sympathy thing, like the mercy killing thing.
Possibly.
Either mercy killing or they die within a few minutes of being in the hospital. So.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, like, the bodies of anything, like, I'm surprised, like, sometimes people could bleed a lot, or they might have a organ that doesn't function right, and yet somehow their vitals are completely fine, so I don't know how any of that works.
I don't know, but there's actually more of the story. So,
go on. So,
they tell me that, oh, we're gonna take your dog in, and, you know, we're going to be about 30 more minutes, which is, they gave me an estimated time, and it's like 30 minutes pass or so, and I continue bugging them about it, and eventually someone finally fucking comes in, and it's been about 2 hours probably, so they take my dog in, and my mom decides to go out and take a smoke outside the hospital. I decided to stay in the room that they put us in because I kind of wanted to be alone, and also I was trying to call Brandon because I needed someone to talk to at that point because of all the stress I was dealing with. And of course, Brandon was MIA as fuck, like usual. And
why didn't you call me, huh?
Because I
was asleep. Never mind.
Well, there you go, I guess. And also because I didn't want to waste my battery or my data at that point. Well, actually not. Well, okay, never mind. Not data. I forgot there was free Wi-Fi there, so never mind on that statement. But I didn't want to waste battery. So it was a good thing though that I actually stayed in the room because a little bit after that, like maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, I hear my dog yelping, and at first I stopped to think, could there be a chance that maybe it's just a different dog? But as this dog kept yelping, I eventually realized, oh wait, that is my dog, because that's how she fucking sounds like when she yelps. And when I mean eventually, I mean like a few minutes or so not like 20. But yeah, I hear her yelping, and this goes on for fucking 10 plus minutes. And I'm like, what the fuck? All they're doing is just fucking stopping the blood and cleaning her up. Why is she fucking yelping so much? So I text my mom that the dog has been yelping for a while now. She comes back in and listens to the yelping. And then we fucking ask the people there, can you figure out why our dog is yelping for 10 plus fucking minutes? And they come back and tell me, oh, well, she's yelping because she was put in a kennel and we had to deal with something else at that point, so a technician had to go and help someone else, like a doctor, I guess, and you know, we can't deal with your dog just yet now because it takes 2 technicians to, you know, take care of your dog. One to hold the dog and one to clean her up. And I'm thinking to myself, so you can't just give us our fucking dog then? You gotta fucking put her in a kennel? Really? Like, the fuck? So, eventually, we finally fucking get our dog back. She's actually bandaged up and fucking cleaned up. And
did she have to get stitches? Or he?
No, she, by the way. Oh. And literally, this all fucking took 3 hours to fucking do. 3 hours. And fucking, it's all for literally stopping the blood and bandaging her up and, well, cleaning her up too. So and the whole fucking time she was just continuously bleeding. And I didn't take pictures, but fuck me, it was literally blood red at one point. Not even kidding.
The stitch or the sitch or whatever that thing's called, the lump.
What?
No, they didn't. They offered, but Mario said that they were going to take her to the their vet.
Yeah, and you know how much it costed?
Oh God,
200.
You're very close. $263 fucking dollars
for a Band-Aid.
For fucking stopping the blood, cleaning her up, and bandaging her up, which, by the way, took 3 hours to do. Most of the time was spent waiting, fucking dicking around, fucking waiting while the dog is just continuously bleeding, not even giving a shit, seems like, and fucking all for $263. Are you fucking kidding me? And it probably made it worse, but I fucking, like, in the time I was waiting, I was literally reading reviews on the place, and I've seen a bunch of reviews about how apparently they're fucking veterinarians. Well, I've seen common problems like the staff was rude and fucking horrible, or they didn't care about a dog that would actually be in a real fucking serious emergency. Like, one of them fucking talked about a fish hook stuck in a dog's throat, and one of them, well, I don't even know if I want to mention this one because it might be fucking gruesome to think about. I don't even know if I want to tell this other one, but all I can say is that it's fucking gruesome, and apparently nobody took care of this gruesome-fied dog. Like, it is bad. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's like a recurring thing I've noticed with... That's like a recurring thing I've noticed with doctors in our own experience recently. Like, freaking, you have this situation, Brandon notes how, one of his birds died a year ago because they injected it wrong, and then instead of, like, and then they basically were like, their response is like, oopsie, can we do an autopsy? It's free.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that Brandon was so upset. Mario had to play shitty RPG to cheer him up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that was...
They should have freaking paid him. Like, they should have just given him a refund, like, $500.
Yeah, I remember that. That was during the Remembrance episode of the podcast.
Yeah, like...
bullshit.
And then, of course, we have the situation with when, like, Graham had her heart attack. Like, freaking... the doctors, she gets stabilized, and the doctor seems to think, oh, she's fine. And to my mom, like, all the other family members are there, go home, she's fine. As they're driving home, they get notification she's in critical condition, she dies.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
And about a month or two later, my mom gets a phone call from one of the doctors there, and they're like, "Oh, hi, your mother was checked into the hospital earlier. Can we speak to her regarding her stay?" And my mom's like, "Why are you calling to speak with my mother when she died in your hospital?" Oh, I'm sorry. Shame on you. Hangs up.
There's a similar story about in Florida a few years ago where this one lady came in talking about chest pain or something like that. The doctor says, "You're fine, go home." But I'm feeling pain right now. The doctor's like, "Don't care, you're fine." Chest says, "You're fine." But you test like, "No, you're fine." Then she refused to go home. The police had to come in there, you know, to drag her out of there. She's like, I'm not well." And the police says, "Get out." And then she fell to the ground. The police outside the parking lot. The police is like, "You're faking it. Get up." And it turned out she died. She wasn't faking it at all. She really had a big problem. No one cared. Like, thought she was faking it.
Jesus Christ.
That is sick.
Well, and I guess the police officers were pretty surprised when she didn't get up. But
I don't know what happened to her, but anyways.
Hey guys, guys, I'm sorry to say this, but before we lose me, like to a point where it's in the abyss now, I just want to point out a couple other things that I didn't mention yet. The first thing would have to be that, oddly enough, shortly after I complained about my dog yelping, some other fucking staff member came in the room. It was probably like a nurse or something. She came in our room, told us that we had to go wait in the lobby because they were going to put another, person, like other people in there. And it was only about 15 minutes, maybe 15 plus minutes, that they actually put someone in there. And I feel like that they fucking lied at first because, they hear yelping? Well, we don't want them to complain about it, so let's just put them in an area where they possibly can't even hear the dog. And second...
That sounds like bullshit.
It is. I fucking was like, yeah, sure. So, the other thing I want to point out is that, my dog, I don't know why, but for some reason, the whole time, she didn't seem like she was in pain. So, that was kind of a shocker. And second, my dog didn't act funny or anything. Even with all the blood she lost, she appears to be fine. And we were told that she's okay to eat and drink water as much as she would like, even though we can't feed her all that much because diet. But yeah, she's pretty much fine. We were going to take her to our local vet today and have it removed. We did take her, however, we couldn't do anything with her because our vet that we usually see wasn't there, so we decided to wait until she was available, which would be tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to get it removed. So yeah, that's what I wanted to point out. And also, it's been 2 hours and 2 minutes, or about 3 minutes, so you can say what you want at this point.
We're going to have to stay a little bit longer today. Maybe 2.5 hours permanently.
No, I think we just need more organization.
Anyways, to the final topic, I guess. Prom. Yeah.
I've never been to prom or a dance, so...
Yeah, I didn't even know it was prom time until Saturday.
My prom is already passed. My parents don't even know, and my parents wanted me to go to senior prom. Didn't, partially because don't want to. The other part because it's too fucking expensive. I think it was like $50 or $60 for a ticket. Yeah, fuck that.
I didn't go to my junior prom because the price was like, plus I didn't have a date. Anyways, I didn't have a date for my senior prom either, really, technically. But I went because it was free. At least when I was in school, senior proms were free at Vandalia itself. Like, I'm like, free prom? Okay. No, don't have a date, whatever. It's a free ticket. So I'm like, I might as well go. Get my money's worth. But really, it's funny now. I don't know if this is me or not. Maybe I'm old school, but it's weird seeing people take their prom dates to McDonald's. It's just weird to me, I guess. Like, I went to at least like for homecoming. I went to like Applebee's for homecoming. That's my homecoming. And for prom, we went to a little more expensive for prom. But it's weird. I don't know why. To me, at least, is taking your date to McDonald's for prom. It's just.
I think that's horrible. I think that if you're willing to go to prom, I mean, it's really expensive, but you should at least try to give her like the best you can, and taking her to McDonald's or him or whatever. Taking them, I should say. I think you should take them to a fancier place unless they don't care. Like, if they don't care, then yeah. But I'm probably never gonna go to prom anyways, so I've never even been to a dance with somebody, so.
I went to after prom, I went to prom.
I did not go to either of my proms. I've already talked about this. Junior prom, I didn't go because I didn't think it was important. Senior prom, my mom really wanted me to go. The only catch is that I could only go if I was able to get a date. Truth is, my sister did hook me up with one of her friends, and we got as far as actually meeting each other and talking about it. Mm-hmm. But then she had to back out when this one other person who apparently stalked her to the point where she needed to file a restraining order decided that they were going to go to the prom. And I didn't necessarily think it was fair, because I heard that this person and their date were juniors, and they were going to senior prom.
Are you kidding me? Oh.
Yeah, we had combo prom. Really, we didn't have separate prom. We had junior senior prom, but seniors were going. Seniors went. If you went to the school, and you get senior tickets for free. If your date, however, was out of school, then you had to buy a ticket for her or him. That's the reason I went, really, like I said, because it was a free. Even though I didn't have a date, it was a free ticket. So I'm like, whatever. You guys have after proms?
What is that?
It's a thing. It's just pretty much as a party after the prom. You're dressed up in casual clothes after you dance and stuff and do some stuff. Our theme was a casino. We had a casino thing. We dressed up after we danced and did stuff. We came back. We came back to the library. They had it all up in the casino, dressed up like a casino and stuff. We had gambling with fake. We had a gambling thing set up with fake money, of course. And at the end, we used the fake money to buy auction stuff, like a car and stuff, like a real car. And auction off a real car with fake money.
Jesus Christ!
That someone donated.
Wow. Well, my senior prom had an after prom, but as I stated, I didn't go to prom, so I didn't go to the after prom. My senior prom did cost money, and the thing is, when one of my teachers found out that I didn't have a date, she hastily hooked me up with one other girl. But not only did I barely know who this girl was, immediately after she agreed to it for the teacher, she goes outside and starts seducing another boy right in front of me.
You're like, it was like a pity date, or
like it was essentially all it would have been was a pity date. In fact, I have a feeling she would have just abandoned me if I did go.
Like something like people dating, fake people, so their parents don't like who they're really dating, so they date a fake person off the trail.
I mean, I guess, but all I know is I ended up politely declining. I mean, the girl was super nice about it, but still, it just didn't feel like it was going to be genuine at all.
Yeah.
So I ultimately didn't go to the prom, but I did have a makeshift homecoming dinner with my sister. We went to one of our favorite childhood restaurants and had dinner there. And good thing we went, because it closed down like a couple months later, and now it's like a generic 1950s diner.
I had a similar story in my junior prom. I almost had a date, but at the time I was kind of shy back then. I couldn't talk to the girls that well, so I was trying to get the words out. And so then I finally left, and my friend an hour later asked the same girl out. I asked that girl out. Like, damn it, I could have asked her out, but I was too shy to ask her.
Well, simply put, I don't ask. I've never, ever gone on a date with a girl before. Like, I know I'd like to at one point. I mean, I don't like any of the kissy stuff or any of that crap, but, still, I'd like to have something like that. But simply put, I can't, because I feel like it seems that any girl I'd ever be interested in is already taken.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point where I don't even bother asking because I don't feel like it would be appropriate.
Well, you actually never know, but yeah, I haven't asked a girl in a while because last time I've asked, they're like, "Oh, they gave me the F word, friends. Oh, we're friends. I don't want to ruin that."
Hey, at least you have women you can call friends. I don't really have that.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys.
Except maybe a few of the recurring people in the chat, but that's about it.
Okay, what is up with these freaking Amber Alerts? I've been getting them literally every single day about somebody missing in my area, and it's getting ridiculous.
Apparently, a lot of people are being kidnapped for it, I guess.
Yeah, there's people going missing like every single day, like 2 boys missing, a girl possibly in Green Sudan, and I'm just sitting here like, please, no. Anyways, you could continue. It's just I've been bombarded with these Amber messages.
Go on.
Well, I guess I do have something to say about Schnicksting. I would like to experience it, but more likely than not, I know that I'm not going to experience going to prom, or possibly even dating. I mean, I have been smooched, but not really on my terms.
I've experienced
I would say out of everybody in our little gang, out of everyone in the Skype/Discord calls and everybody in the chat, I am probably the most hopeless romance guy. I have never done any of the basic steps.
I'm probably more useless because I don't like talking to people.
Yeah, the far I've gone out is I've asked them out. They said we're friends. Don't want to do anything. That's as far as I ever got.
I've never asked anybody out. I've never gotten a kiss. Not even really a hug. I mean, there was one point where freaking a couple of the boys dared one girl to hug middle school schnick. It must have been a fucking nightmare for her, but
I've gotten goodbye hugs, like graduation. I hugged the girl goodbye, like bye. Guess we'll see you around or whatever. You know, like goodbye hugs. You know, like we'll miss you hug.
Well, I've never had a date, as I mentioned. I haven't even been able to. I've never asked anybody out. I haven't even really been able to obtain friends that are the opposite gender. I mean, of course, there's my friend Jason's older sister Nicole is friendly with me, but then the older sister of the twin brothers I mentioned, she's friendly with me, but then that's it.
I know people who have sisters, but I've never met them.
I've had multiple experiences with girls in middle school. Yeah, they all didn't last very long.
In middle school, I crush on a different girl each year. 6th, 7th, 8th grade, or 9th grade, I crush on. Ooh, I like this girl now. Ooh, I like this girl now. Ooh, I like this girl now.
Yeah, I've even.
Okay, the only like girls that I've had experiences with, I never really like them. Like they hate me. Like those are like the people who stand out in my mind. Like there's nobody that I really like or have liked, but I do know girls who have not liked me. Like, okay, in high school, there's this one girl who's in my Spanish class right now. Literally, I was really tired on Tuesday from working, and it was last hour because they have Spanish last hour. I go and I sit down, and some of the desks are unorganized, right? So I go and sit down, and then some person next to me has to move their desk, and then her in front of me is like, "Wow, you could have helped her, but you didn't." And I'm just sitting here like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" I'm just like,
"You're saying this?" Oh, I have a little story that happened today. Essentially, I was walking to my class, and there was this woman in a wheelchair, and I guess part of her wheelchair broke, like when she was trying to wheel it. She asked me, I passed by, she asked me for help wheeling her to the library. I did it.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that I was obligated to do it. All I wanted to do was get back and sit down. I was already sitting down in the desk, and the person next to me was fixing their desk, right? And then the person in front was like, "Wow, you could have helped her, Jesse." And then
you could have helped her too. You're doing longer than I have.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking here, like, one, I'm not obligated to, and two, you could have helped her too.
I mean,
So-
And two, if she wanted help, like some people like
Would've asked.
like she needed help, she could have asked. Like as me at work, you need help? Like, no, I'm good. You know, I might not be good. But still, I'm like, sometimes people don't want help. Like I can handle this. I don't need help. And people, sometimes people get mad if you help. Sometimes people do get mad if you offer to help them. Like, you need help? Like, no, I don't need help.
Yeah. But what's stupid is that...
I was just being asked for help, and yeah, I did it.
Yeah, that's good on you, Schnick. But see, the thing is that what she does is she criticizes literally everything that I do, and she does it for no reason. And either, one, she got the hots for me, or two, she's straight up just messing with me, which is most likely the latter.
I mean, I'll definitely say that in my situation, there have been girls that I was at least interested in getting to know and maybe befriend. Like, in high school, there was one girl that was actually really into games, and I was actually interested in talking with her and like maybe sharing interests. I later find out she has a boyfriend. She later displayed little interest in talking with me, because she thought I was too quiet.
Well,
I mean, she still talked with me on occasion, but not that much.
Yeah, it's weird.
I mean, it's better than nothing. I mean, after all,
yeah.
I wouldn't say she was entirely disinterested. In fact, when my class went on a trip to see the movie Lincoln, because it was playing in theaters, my freaking U.S. history class, it's like, oh, let's go on a field trip to see Lincoln. So we go to the freaking movie theater where it's playing, I get my popcorn, soda, and all that. I see her sitting with another friend of mine. They both wave at me, and she motions for me to go sit with them, and I did.
That's nice, I guess.
Like that, yeah, that was unexpected, but it was welcome, I suppose.
See, when I was in middle school and down, I was just completely inept and just acted the same towards everybody. And then people were mean, so then I quieted up. So.
Was there a time you thought girls were like gross and stuff?
Oh yeah,
No.
Fucking elementary school schnick. I could go on a fucking long daily onion. If only I could remember. All I remember is that freaking elementary school schnick believed all the stereotypes.
I didn't believe in stereotypes. I pretty much just was like, we're all people. Why is everybody so mean to each other? I was really innocent back then, so. Like, why is everybody so mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, I had some friends that were girls in elementary school, but it was probably I kept to myself. That they were just most of the girls were just rope jumping and singing songs.
I would rope jump. I would jump rope because I found
they were doing the jumpy rope and saying rhymes and stuff in my elementary school in recess.
I would just do what I did fun, and I didn't really know gender specific stuff like what would be considered girly or boy-ish. Like if I wanted to play pretend and chase people with sticks at the playground, then I would do that. Or if I wanted to jump rope, then I would do that. I would just do what I felt like. I didn't really know the stereotypical consequences of that.
Oh, speaking of playing pretend, did you hear Nick's story about somebody getting suspended for saying they're invisible?
Yeah, no, they were pretending they had. This one boy pretended he had the one ring from Lord of the Rings. And he's like, I have this magic ring that can turn you invisible, and he got suspended because apparently that was making a terrorist threat.
What? Are you kidding me? He was, you know what's kind of strange? I used to play Lord of the Rings too. Like, me and my friends would usually play pretend, like pretend we were in movies, kind of like cosplaying, I guess. I don't know, but more so just pretending we were in the universe. So glad that my school decided not to suspend all of us for doing that. Stupid.
But yeah,
there was one time where so the reason why me and my friends played pretend a lot and, you know, tag, freeze tag, all that, was more so because there was one time where me and my friend Christian were playing football in like 3rd grade, and he kicks the ball, right? I grab it, and we're chasing, and he tries to stop me, but instead he like spears me from behind, and we go crashing and rolling down the hill, and then the teacher was like, "Hey, play nice." So I'm just like, okay. It hurt. So then we didn't play sports. We just played pretend.
pretend sports. Like, catch the pretend ball! You pretend
no, we would
out! Out!
Yeah, instead of actually playing football, instead all we did was toss the ball back and forth, and usually missing every single time. Throwing it really, really badly, so.
Throwing the football, making it flip.
With 2 hands.
Oof!
Oh, by the way, this episode is not brought to you by Mountain Dew because we don't have sponsors. Just kidding.
Wait, you're kidding? We don't have sponsors, so we do have sponsors?
I think I'm gonna go back to the dorm room now, and I'm gonna spend time reading the chat.
Okay.
Because I'm on 6% battery, so I'm not gonna last much longer.
Alright, well, I'll wrap this up. And anybody had final words then?
Nope.
Yes, 2 days ago I caught somebody eavesdropping because they laughed at one of my jokes I made, like, on the far back of the corner. Basically, we were handed a blank sheet of paper, and I grabbed the sheet of paper and told one of my friends, like, so here's my sheet of skills that I have, you know, as a joke. And then I heard somebody in the back of the room laugh at my joke and looked directly at me. I'm just like, eavesdrop.
Mario, any final words?
No.
Alright, time for the wrap up then, I guess. Alright, today we learned that pet hospitals need more doctors and nurses to take care of pets. People need to stop kidnapping children, so there's less Amber Alerts out there.
There's one now. Jinx!
Let's see what else. I guess if you want to go to prom, do it. If you don't, if you can afford it and you want to, go for it. You might have fun, you might not have fun, whoever. Let's see. False information. Don't treat it as fact, and don't treat opinions as fact. And if you see false information, try to correct it, even if it's ridiculed for it.
Even
if you're right,
what?
you're right.
Even if you what?
What?
Even if you what? You got cut off.
Get ridiculed for it.
Oh.
And WWE apparently needs to not go there for the greatest Royal Rumble of all time, or they need to do a separate women's division just to balance it out, I guess. Anyways, because that's just, even though I'm not an SJW person, that's just wrong in my opinion. That go to a country, even though it's money, where women can't do anything. All right. Well, they'll see you this Friday. I have to work again, or this Saturday, whenever they decide to do it. It's Friday or Saturday. I have to work again this weekend. I'm trying to fix that. Hopefully soon I'll be able to be here weekends again. But until then, they'll see you Friday or Saturday. Never stop learning. Enjoy the randomness. They'll see you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.